I see it.
Hello, everybody. This is Lady Myya. I am so glad, you know, we are about to have some fun, y'all, like we said. And we're going to be talking to, this is Sir Dominique Edmond in the house. Woo! We are doing it up, y'all. So, you know, we definitely have, you know, so many people that we are just can't wait. We can't wait. We can't wait. We can't wait to see what is this all about and who we actually have. Okay, so we're going to be talking today, okay, about the struggles and what we have endured, but what you have endured as well. So, you know, how did we get through them? How can we be happy and smiling and doing all the extra stuff? So this is always one of those things that we're just also excited about. We want everybody to be engaged. You can also just go ahead and go back to the link. You can actually be a part of the live studio audience, meaning we got connections to you as you have connections to us. So
this was previously recorded.
Yes, without further ado. Yes, I said further ado, like a black person. I'm sorry. Anyway, we're gonna get started. Can you please tell us and tell my Mayan tribe, Dominique, who you are? What is your business, beloved?
Awesome, Myya. Thank you so much, Lady Myya. It is a privilege and honor to be able to join you today. Thank you so much for having me on, for inviting me. I'm really humbled and honored to be here, to be able to speak with your audience here. I know that you have a great audience, a great tribe following you here. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I am Dominique Edmond. I am here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I'm a proud father of two. I'm actually a single dad these days, product of a divorce. So I definitely understand what that's like, what that feels like, what the pain, the rejection, the disappointment, all of those things that go along with that. And so I'm definitely well acquainted with that situation. But in spite of that pain, God has really done some great things in my life. One of which was, in the midst of that, He allowed me to birth this vision for Empowered Publishing Worldwide, where we help people to be able to write and publish their books. So now, through that pain, I was able to birth out this amazing book publishing company where we've been able to help dozens of authors be able to write and publish their books. And they're able to do so, Myya, believe it or not. The program that we have in place is set up for them to be able to do that within 90 days. 90 days or less, we're able to see people come into the program, write their book from zero, from scratch, having absolutely nothing on paper before coming to us. We walk them through the entire process. We coach them from beginning to end, walk them through the entire process. They get their manuscript written, edited, formatted, and we get it published for them. And they are so elated because it's something that many of them have dreamed of doing. It's something that many of them have wanted to do, but just didn't know how. They didn't have the direction. They didn't have the guidance. They had a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unclarity. But then we come into the scene and we've been able to help them to be able to get very clear on how to get it done. I like to tell my authors that when you work with EPW, when you work with us, you're working with somebody who knows the way, goes the way, and can show you the way. And that's what people need. They need that direction, that one-on-one, step-by-step direction. And we provide that for people here at EPW so that they're able to achieve that goal of writing and publishing their books.
Wow. See, y'all, I mean, we got some people on here that is looking out for your best interests. You know, what it is that you guys have on the next agenda or the next horizon. You know, so we can get these things on and popping and we can like really live life. Y'all, really live life to the fullest. Definitely. So, my Mayan tribe, please welcome Mr. Wize.
Hello, how you doing?
What's going on, sir? Please tell my Mayan tribe about who you are and what is the name of your business.
My name is Wize. I am CEO and owner of Wize Productions.
Thank you for joining Your Free Will. We are back.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. So yes, he is a personality, y'all.
I'm a personality.
And other Armando. We have all of them sitting still. Okay, so my assistant, okay, I have to give her props on this because like I was freaking out and I was losing my crap. And she goes, "No, Lady Myya, just do this." And I was just like, "Don't just give me just. We can't do just. This is Myya." Okay, so she says that, you know, we should start talking about struggle. The struggle and how we were able to overcome it. And I thought that was, I said, wow, if she didn't know who I was talking to, she nailed that, you know, that nail straight on the head. Like, okay, yeah, no, definitely. So I got super excited. Of course, I talked to Dominique and I'm like, yo, dude, this is what we're gonna do. And he was just like, okay. So I'm like, Wize, he goes with the flow. So, you know, it's definitely one of those things that, you know, we got. So, okay, so I'm gonna ask the fellas. For the situation that you would call a struggle, how did that look and play out? My guys, Mr. Dominique.
Awesome. I really appreciate that question, Lady Myya, because it's something that we hear about a lot. And of course, it's really cliche-ish, right? Honestly, we hear a lot of people say the struggle is real or it's going to be a struggle. I was recently having a conversation with a group of entrepreneurs on this very topic of struggling. And I know that as a people, as a culture, as a Black man, we use that term for different things and we use it often. And sometimes I've even seen people use it as a crutch. And of course, I don't encourage that. But we hear the term thrown around a lot. In that space with entrepreneurs, we talked about the struggle. And one entrepreneur I was talking with, he was telling me about his father-in-law. And his father-in-law used to have an electric company that he kind of helped out with electrical work. So he had a business and he would go from house to house helping people with electrical work in the home. But as far as his family was concerned, the family felt like they were struggling. The family felt as if they were not making X amount of dollars, and so therefore they were struggling. And so a lot of times I find that what happens is what we perceive or believe a struggle to be is not really a struggle at all. A lot of times, like I said earlier, people are using it as a crutch. So they are victims and they perceive themselves to be in a struggle that's not really there. It's no different from what anyone else is experiencing, but they're choosing to call their situation a struggle so that way they can get a little pity, they can get somebody to feel sorry for them and things, and they can excuse their behaviors, and they feel as though it helps them to be able to not have to give something their all because they're struggling. And so with that, we just kind of, we had a great conversation about the struggle and what people perceive, or what we commonly hear people refer to as the struggle, is nothing more than a normal part of the process. And that's what I see more so than not for most people, Myya. I see people just, they're not aware of what a normal process looks like, what a normal part of the process. They say, I want to be successful, I want to own a business, I want to do that, I want to write a book. they come to me all the time and they want to write a book. And then I tell them, okay, well, you need to have some time set aside. The book will not accidentally write itself one day. You're going to have to make some time. Well, Dominique, you don't understand. I have this going on, that going on. It's a struggle for me to write the book. No, it's not a struggle. It's the normal part of the process. Everybody has to make the time to write the book. If you're not scheduling that time, it just won't happen. And that happens in many areas of our lives where we try to use that term struggle when we probably shouldn't. And we should really just stretch ourselves instead and say, hey, you know what? This is a challenge, but let me see how I can figure this out and make it work.
I mean, yes. Like,
she got a rebuttal though. She has something for that though.
I gotta sleep on that one. Just a little bit. It's like, oh god dang. Is he calling me out? Or I don't know. Go ahead, Wize. What would you say about the struggles and becoming?
Man, it's I don't look at them as struggles. They're just more life lessons. Like for me, if it's something that I experienced, I don't look at it as a struggle. It's just something that I know that, okay, this happened. How did I get here? Now it's my turn to resolve that issue and learn from it, and then try not to repeat the same mistake again. So it's not really. Again, I kind of agree with Dominique. There's things that sometimes we can't control. At the end of the day, we do control a lot of the things that happen to us, and we just got to look at how we react. Like, all right, yeah, we can. Someone loses their job. They can either stay and just wallow in their pit, sad, feel bad for themselves, and not do anything about it, or they can look at it as an opportunity to do something else, and that might fit them, or just might be, they might just be able, it just might be something that was meant to be. Like it's I'm ready to quit my job. But it's, I know I need to be in a situation in order for me to just be able to do it. I'm getting to that point. I'm really getting to that point because there's a lot of things that are happening because regardless of all the obstacles that are coming in my way, not, like he says, not using it as a crutch. I'm not, like, with anything that bad that happens, I'm not like, oh man, now I have to give up. Used to give up. A lot of people do because they don't want to go through the hard times. They don't want to go so-called struggle and just give up. But you can't. It's like something happens. All right, how am I going to deal with it? You can either be like, oh man, I'm going to accept everything that's happened, or just keep going, keep moving. Just can't. Like I said, it's just life lessons to me. Everything, I don't look at it as struggles. They're just life lessons, and I just apply everything I've learned. I just try not to repeat the same mistake.
If you're just joining us, you have reached Your Free Will. We're talking to Wize and Dominique.
Okay. All right. So what happened was, this is what I'm gonna make myself very clear. Okay. Dominique, the only reason I was like, let me sleep on that is because, you know, when you got like that the OCD, COPD, whatever, I don't know what it is. I don't even know what the acronyms are anymore. Like, everything is like merged together. So I was just like, oh no, wait, this sounded like something like my ex-husband said, and I was like, no. Sorry, my bad. I had to retracting, y'all. He was right. He was all over that. I was just like, let me sleep on that. That's what I was like. It took me somewhere, and I'm like, okay, no, he's right. You know what? I'm the same exact way. Like, anytime like I left a job or I was in a situation, I just couldn't sit still for whatever length of time that I thought was going to happen. I had to do something about it, and if I didn't do something about it, there's too many people depending on me. So there's no reason for me to keep sitting still and wallowing, and that wasn't going to get me anywhere or my family. So like, yeah, no, I agree with y'all 100%. Definitely, y'all are on top of it. So like, what was the struggle? Like, I just need to know, like, not let's just not even call it a struggle, since, you know, we've all been in agreement that it's not truly a struggle. But what are the, like, some of the difficult times that you may have initially perceived it as a struggle, but later to find out that it wasn't? Any takers?
Yeah, yeah, LadyMyya, I'll go ahead and I'll speak first on it, because I mean we're all gonna have challenges, and I guess that's kind of the term that I choose to use, but I know that a lot of people refer to it as a struggle, and I think a lot of that too, as I think about it, I think a lot of it has to do with the picture that society tries to paint for us, especially in America. We're told that if you don't live in a $500,000 home, you must be struggling. If you don't have a Mercedes-Benz, you must be struggling. If you don't wear certain clothes, then you must be struggling. And so, unfortunately, a lot of us buy into that. And we don't have enough people around us who can show us otherwise. We don't have enough people around us telling us otherwise, teaching us otherwise. And so we just kind of buy into it, and society makes us feel a certain way. We feel as though we're inadequate somehow. We don't measure up somehow. We're struggling somehow. And so we put on this face, you know, we go on Facebook and all these other social media, IG and everything, and we try to paint this picture for the world that, hey, I'm all right, I'm okay. Look at me, I'm on this vacation. Oh, look at me, I'm standing in front of this Rolls Royce that's not mine, but I'm standing in front of it. And so we put on this front because we feel as though if I tell people what's really going on, I'm going to be perceived as struggling, and I don't want that. We only understood and knew that that's not really struggling. If we could grow to a place where we can accept it as part of the process, and we can say, okay, this is where I am. This is where I'm truly at. This is the season in my life that I'm in. And that's what I think your question is in reference to. You know, what were some of those challenges? What were some of those seasons where you had to overcome some things, where some things were difficult for you? And what did you have to overcome? How did you overcome it? And so I totally appreciate that, because we're all going to experience that in life. If you haven't experienced it yet, just keep waking up. And the day is going to come where you're going to definitely experience some challenges. And you have an option, right? At that point, you can either look at it as a struggle, that oh, woe is me, the world is against me, the man is against me, all of those types of things. Or you could look at it as a challenge, as an obstacle, and you could say, okay, how do I overcome this? How do I get beyond it? How do I get over it? How do I get through it? Whatever it is that you need. You know, for me, LadyMyya, it was when my ex-wife decided that she no longer wanted to be married to me, and she decided that she wanted to leave the home. She took our 2 kids, she left the home, and that was by far the most difficult, the darkest time of my life ever. I never experienced rejection like that. I never experienced heartache like that. I never experienced failure like that. I never experienced the level of mental turmoil that I experienced from that experience, from that situation. Never seen anything like that. Was never prepared for anything like that. Never saw it coming. And so when I walked into it, my whole world fell apart. Everything just fell. Everything came crumbling, crashing down all around me in that moment, in that instant. And before I knew it, I was in the middle of a very heated custody battle that cost a lot of time and a lot of money. And as a result, I ended up having to foreclose on my home because I couldn't afford the mortgage payments anymore. Not because my income at that time, not because my income had shifted, but because I had this new expense called attorney fees. And so because I was paying so much money every month, I couldn't keep up both the mortgage and my attorney's fees. And so where she was living at home, at her mother's home, she didn't have a mortgage to keep up with. I had to keep up with the mortgage, and so I had to let it go. Want to refinance it with me, or didn't? She didn't want me to refinance it in just my name. She refused to do that, so I had to let the home go, and it forced me to move back to my parents' home, which was over 80 miles away from where I live. So I'm having to commute. Now, all of this could be perceived as a struggle. I'm struggling in this moment, someone could say. I didn't look at it that way. I had to do what I had to do. It was an obstacle. Sure, it was challenging. It wasn't easy. It was difficult. But I had to figure out, how can I still get to work every day? And how can I still be a part of my children's lives every day as if none of this other stuff is going on? And then my employer closed my location. My location wasn't making the financial goals. And so they closed my location. So then now I'm homeless and unemployed at that point. So sure, somebody can say, whoa, man, you were struggling. Well, I mean, if that's the word that you choose to use, then sure, you could say that. But it wasn't, again, it wasn't a crutch. It wasn't something for me to lean back on and say, okay, well, I'm struggling, I'm stuck. It was for me to say, okay, I'm in a difficult situation. How do I get out of this thing? And so it was in that moment that God really gave me this vision and this idea for the book writing business, where I'm able to help people with writing and publishing their books. But you see, had I not gone through that, or had I even gone through it the wrong way, with the wrong mindset, the wrong attitude, looking at it from the completely wrong perspective, I don't think any of that would have happened for me. And now I wouldn't have been able to be in position to help people write and publish their books like I am today. So it's definitely a mindset shift, but those were the difficulties, the challenges that I had to face and endure in order for me to move past, to get beyond it and continue to thrive in society.
Yeah. My turn now?
You know, that's the situation. It is what it is. I think that is a very interesting, to say the least, situation, because like nobody is ever prepared. Never, ever. And so it's just one of those things. Like, what do you do? How do you even handle a lot of these different things and still kind of find the silver lining, see it as a process and different things like that? That is not the easiest thing to do. So, oh, Miss Andrea, what's up, beloved? Okay, she's not back. Okay, she left. But I think you even going through that got you to the point to whereas, yes, it had to happen. But now look at where you are and what you're able to do and how many people you're still able to help. And I'm pretty sure you have the testimony to speak with other people that are like more so like, yes, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't know that's what I was going to have to go through, you know, to get to a point, to get to a place to whereas like I can make sense of this. But definitely, Wize, what you got to say, bro? Because I know it's going down.
Oh, no, it's like it's a struggle. Like, I was widowed at the age of 31, and I had been with my wife most of my adult life, and for a long time I was angry, and I used that as a crutch to do things that I was doing, to enable to for an excuse for me to get drunk all the time and get high and abuse myself basically. And I was very self-destructive and went down a very dark path. But when I was tired of basically using that as a crutch and to really get out of that, I was blessed by the Lord bringing someone else into my life and having that person help me out of the darkness and seriously into the light. Like, I've been able to change my life around. I've been able to again find a woman who understood me and helped build me back up. And again, like, I don't, if anyone goes through the stuff that we've been through, sometimes you can understand why people give up. But within me, I just couldn't. It was just, I felt like I was letting her down, but mainly I was really letting myself down, just keeping that as an excuse for me to be where I was at.
If you're just joining us, you have reached your free will. We're talking to Wize and Dominique.
It's so important that we find something that good about the situation. You know, some people say, you know, I lost everything. You know, I can't do this, but you got the activities of your limbs. You can still think correct. You know, you're still breathing. You're still getting and being able to go to and fro. And I think this is like one of those times to where, like, there's a testimony for everyone to meet up with, that you were going through that thing to meet that person so that they understand you and you understand them. And I think that's just one of those things, you know, we don't all look at it at the same time. We don't all look at it the same way. It's just one of those things. It's just like, what do you do when you're just trying to just live, right? To live that life and do what you got to do and take care of business, as the family, the friends, you know, all these different people. And so, like, I look at it like you guys have been through so, I'm not going to say so much, because I'm not going to curse you like that. I'm just not going to do that. That's not me. I'm not going to curse you like that. But I look at it like you've gone through those things because you're a leader. You've gone through these things because you were delegated for the path that you went through and the people that's coming behind you. And I think that is like such a, like, okay, you know, like the marching band must move on. It got to go on. It's got to go on. So, okay, let me ask you this. If the situation in your mind, now this is like one of those, you know, what if in your mind, if it had happened the opposite, I don't know what the opposite looks like for you, what do you think would have happened? The opposite, meaning if the situation, let's just say, okay, so Dominic, you still was in the marriage, right? And it got abusive. She started cheating. She started bringing folks through. I mean, like, it went bad, you know. Wize, like, you know, situation with, you know, you trying to take care of your family and whatnot, and they done gave you, you know, I don't know what they would do if you wanted to leave your business, but I don't know. Like, what can they do? But think about it. You have an imagination. What would that look like? I mean, I know it would be hard, but...
Well, You know, looking back at my situation, so if things had gone differently, let's say my ex and I would have stayed together. Let's say she would have never left. We would have stayed together. 9 times out of 10, Lady Myya, I would have found myself in that same position that many people find themselves in. And it's the position that Coach Les Brown talks about. Love that guy. He's full of energy, full of life. He has some great nuggets, always saying something catchy that you just kind of put in your pocket and walk around with it and take it out every now and then and read it. But one thing that he said is the biggest enemy of great is good. And so I would have found myself in a place of complacency where I would have just said, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm average. I'm okay. I'm somewhere in the middle road where I'm making decent money. I'm not making $1 million a year, but I'm certainly not at the bottom either. I'm good. I'm okay. And I would have never really pushed myself. I would have never found myself in a situation where I would have needed to push myself. I would have needed to dig in and say, okay, Dominique, you can be better than this. I think one thing, Lady Myya, if maybe I can share with the audience, one thing that really helped to pull me out of my situation and out of that darkness was I had to really have a come to Jesus meeting. And I really had to have that conversation with myself and say, okay, so now you've lost everything. So everything's gone. Everything's been taken from you. Whether good, right, wrong, whatever, who cares? The bottom line is you've lost it all. So now what do you do? What are you here for now that you have nothing? And that was a real conversation that I had to have with myself. And I had to realize, okay, well, if that's the case, then that means my purpose here on this earth is not about those things. And I had to really discover who Dominique is and what I'm here to do. And in my book, How to Set Yourself on Fire, I even talk about those things because that was a huge turning point for me. Discovering my purpose and discovering my worth and my value and understanding that I'm not here for somebody's job. I'm not here for the 9 to 5. I'm not here to please and satisfy man. And I'm not here for all of those things. I think about Job in the Bible and how he lost everything. He lost everything. And the whole point was for him to curse God and die, turn his back on God and die. But he still, in the midst of losing everything, he kept waking up every morning and he kept finding a reason to keep moving forward. And so that's something that I love to encourage people in, is that you have to discover your purpose. You have to find your why. And for a lot of people, I've been blessed to be able to help them in writing their books because that's really helped them to get clear. It's been very therapeutic, believe it or not, for people to get clear on why they're here. What is their function? What is their worth? What is their value? They write these books, they publish these books, and they're able to share them with the world, really, because of the internet now. It's so easy to share it around the world. And so people are able to be encouraged and inspired and motivated by the books that they write. And from that, they get real clear on their purpose and on their mission in life. And I'm so thankful. I don't like that I went through the experience that I went through, but at the same time, I am thankful that I experienced it, and I'm thankful that I had the right attitude through it, so that way I was able to benefit from it, come out on the other side better, smarter, stronger than I was when I went through that challenge.
And that's it. I think that's what we are trying to do with life in general, just to come out stronger and smarter and just that much more well off, so that, you know, we can have a life and live that more abundantly and prosperously. And definitely, Mr. Wize, I don't know, did you come up with something?
Oh no, he made a lot of excellent points. But for me, it was for a long time I was angry. I was angry with the world. I was angry with God. and like Dominic, I had to sit down and really speak to myself and find out what I truly wanted, what it was that I wanted, and sat down and spoke to God and spoke to myself, and I told him, I want to get out of the darkness. I need help. Really said I need help, and I put it out there, and again I was blessed again to find someone to help me out of it and me up and help me get back to where to be, so I can serve him and deliver the message that he wanted me to deliver. And I'm not a religious person. I really am not. I'm not gonna say I go to church every Sunday, because I don't. I know that I'm here to deliver a message and provide positive content and help people might not know how to get out of it, who might need to hear my story and understand that, you can go through so many things, many trials. It's up to you if you really want to give up, or if you know let the Lord help you, and like people say this all the time, that he won't give you anything you can't handle. That's true. If he gave me with the trials that he gave me, then I wouldn't be the man that I am now. It wouldn't help me and become the man that I am becoming.
If you're just joining us, you have reached Your Free Will, where it's talking to Wize and Dominique.
Wow. That's deep. I like that. Yes, sir. I mean, I won't ever profess that I'm perfect, by no means. I understand. We all have, I look at it like we all have different walks. No, not everybody's walk is going to look the same way. Hell, how many cursing Christians are still out there? Please, let's be real with it, y'all. Come on now. You be cussing them out in the parking lot. Let's not go there. But it's like, I don't know if it was the encounters that I've had that would look down on me because of the situations, or like just what I decided to do didn't look like what they would do, and they would look at you like, you broken, something's wrong here, that doesn't make sense. But you don't even know everything or all my options. Don't do that. Let's not do that. So I didn't want to get away from the project. Oh, my bad. So but at the same time, I think it kind of coincides, when you deal with something, you just try to do it to the best of your ability, regardless of however the struggle, it could be a air quote, y'all, the struggle can look or feel, or the options that you have going forward. And yes, you may not initially have it all together or can think of a whole plan to what it is that you want to do, but at the same time, just know that I'll speak for myself. I know that you went with the option you felt best in doing, and you went from there. But y'all went deep on me. No, don't do that. I'm trying.
It's funny because at first when I first started podcasting and stuff, I didn't share my story. I really didn't share my story. I spoke to someone one day, like, yo, listen, you've been through so much in your life. Maybe you should share your story with your listeners. Let them understand where you're coming. That you're just like everyone else. You've been through dark times. Maybe someone in the same situation, they might have to hear your struggle and hear your story. So I've been coming out more and sharing it and letting people know, like, hey, listen, I've been at the bottom of bottom. And again, like Dominique said, you can use this as a crutch to keep you down there, or you can just get up and face it head on and keep moving and keep doing and keep grinding, and eventually things will start falling into place. Things will start happening. But you have to pick up and believe and have faith that you'll see the end of the tunnel.
That's deep. See, I like that. Why is it that people don't see faith anymore? Like, or people have as much faith anymore? Like, what do you think that's all about?
I think, LadyMyya, that the first thing that I would say, I think it's a couple of things, but the first thing, and probably the most important, kind of goes back to what Wize just said, which is too many people are sitting around silent about it. We don't want to speak up in the midst of it. So when you're walking through that valley, when you're in the darkness, we don't want to share with others what we're dealing with. It may not be all that dark, right? So it could be a financial situation that you're dealing with. It could be a relational situation that you're dealing with. It could be something with your children. There's so many different things that it could be. But what happens most times is that the person is going to be silent. I remember listening to a message by Bishop T.D. Jakes years ago, and he was talking to men. It was a men's conference, and he said the problem with most men is that they die quietly. And it's because we bottle everything up. We keep everything in, and we're so silent, and we die off this earth, and nobody even knows why. Nobody even knows what's going on. Nobody knows what's happening internally. I've had two, not one, but two friends, fathers, men, who committed suicide, found by their children. And nobody knows what they were going through that would lead them to make that decision. And it's because they were silent. And so, likewise, I so appreciate Wize for what you said, brother, because now that you're able to use that, you're able to use the podcast, you're able to leverage your situation now to help someone else out, to help others who are listening in, who you don't even know they're experiencing that darkness, a very similar darkness to what you experienced. You don't know it, but the fact that you're bold enough to share your story publicly helps that next person. That's why I love what I do with helping people to publish their books, because in the books they have that opportunity to use the book as a voice, as a megaphone, so to speak, that they're able to share with others, with the world, that, hey, this is my situation and this is how I came out. Or this is how I am going through it even. This is how I'm coming out. And so to your question, Myya, what happens is when we are in a situation that's difficult, when we are being divorced, when our spouse has cheated on us, or they've left, or when the money has run out, or whatever the situation is, we're not telling anybody, hey, this is what I'm going through, but this is how I'm handling it. This is how I'm facing it. If we're going to tell the story to anyone, we're going to tell it to them as a victim. Oh, you won't believe what happened to me. My spouse did X, Y, and Z. Oh, my money ran out. It's because my employer, they just so mean and so ugly. Oh, this happened because everything happens to us. We're always victims. But that's the struggle. That's somebody struggling. We were never born to struggle. It was never put in us to struggle. It's not in our DNA to struggle. It's in our DNA to thrive. It's in our DNA to be our best, to progress, to move forward. And so when those difficult times come up, we're either not saying anything or we're victims. And unfortunately, the other people who are watching, they have no model to follow. They have no example by which to handle their struggles when they come up, when their situations come up, when their difficulties come up, when their times of challenge come up. They don't know who to follow. They've never seen that modeled before. So now they don't have faith because no one before them had faith, or at least no one showed them or demonstrated faith. And so therefore it just keeps getting worse and worse from generation to generation because we don't have anybody to watch. But what we need to do instead is what Wize was saying, which is we need to speak up. We need to tell people our stories. We need to share with other people what we've dealt with, what we've been through, and how we've come through it. So that way others who are watching can say, hey, you know what? Maybe that can work for me. If Wize was able to do this in his situation and it worked for him, then maybe it will work for me in my situation. The same thing with my authors. They put these books out and they're very intimate. They're very personal. It's very difficult for them to share that story because they're wondering, how are people going to look at me? How are people going to see me if I tell them this story about I'm on my 5th husband? If I tell them this story about I was molested as a child, if I tell them this story about I was abandoned, I was really adopted, if I tell them this story, how will people perceive me? So it's hard. But once they get that story out, they feel so free and it's truly a deliverance. Like I was saying before, it's very therapeutic for them because now they're no longer in the closet about it. It's no longer this big secret that they're keeping. Now they're able to share it with others. They get free. And the people that they're sharing it with, they're able to benefit and get free as well because now they no longer feel alone. Now they're able to say, oh, wow, Wize dealt with this same thing. So it's not just me who deals with this. And he was able to get through it. So maybe I can get through it as well. So I think those are the two main things that we need to work on. We need to make sure that we're talking. We need to share our stories, what's going on, what are our difficulties, what are our challenges, and we need to talk about how we're getting through it. We need to give that example for other people so that way they can know how to get through it as well.
And to piggyback off of him a little, being a man of color, it also a thing. It's not allowed. We're so prideful, and so that we think it's if we were to show that vulnerability to everyone. No, we need to speak to people. We need to go out there and because it's again in the Hispanic and the Black communities, but especially amongst the men's. We don't talk. We don't reach out to anybody. We suck it up. We take it all in and just leave it in there until we explode. And that's just stupid. It's just really stupid when we think that that's a weakness. No, that's just us being human. Us regular people being normal folk. And we should be able to go seek help and not be criticized or oh, look at this dude, he's going to therapy. Oh man, he's crazy. Like all these different things that make you not want to go seek help. And I really don't understand. I went after everything I've been through. I went to therapy. I seek that, and I'm not ashamed to hide it. I'm not ashamed to say, if anyone ever asks me, oh, should I go? Yes, go to therapy, man. Definitely. If you have something you need to express and you don't have anyone you can express it to, a therapist is a great person to go do that with, because you don't feel judged. Sometimes we go to our friends and the people we love because we feel they're gonna judge us. We feel that they're gonna say, "Oh, this dude is weak. He's not a real man."
Yeah, because you give him that space to do so. That's at least
so. Yeah. So in order to combat that, we need people. Yeah, you need to go out and get help. Seek therapy to be able to express yourself. And this is when I do my podcast, that's therapy. That's me being able to talk and express whatever I have on my chest and let it out. Not everybody everybody has this. Not everyone has this opportunity to really. Anybody who does this podcast understands what I'm kind of saying. So, like I said, I just want to continue to share my message and let brothers know that, listen, to show that we're vulnerable, to show that we're human and we're not all. We have some sensitive sides of us that we can express.
I think for the most part, because like what happened, you know, sister's been married to a bunch of old men, so whatever. But it's the truth. They won't say a word. I mean, they will keep that thing behind a vault, lock and key, not getting nothing. You talking about, I've tried with the dynamite, nothing. And it's just like, I get it because the women were done the same way. But it just depends on who was in their life. Because like I had Little Mama. Little Mama. And she also, that was the weight of her world. She had 5 kids and 3 jobs. I just don't have time to tell you what I'm really going through. So whatever you're going through, you go through it. Just don't let nobody else know. And that was crap. That was bull crap. Because nobody told little Miss Myya, you know, that people weren't supposed to be touching on her when she was younger. Nobody told little Miss Myya that she was not supposed to be beat up all the time in school, in and out of school, and thrown in dumpsters and going through all this extra stuff and getting jumped by girls that she ain't even know. So it was just like, you can't talk to anybody about it because it was just like, don't tell nobody because you're not allowed to. And because now I'm in a church family. We supposed to pray the devil away at some point. You know, I've been prayed on so many times, it's ridiculous. And I'm like, but they're still here. None of y'all will let me tell you what I'm going through. Nobody will let me, you know, give you what it is that, because they never gave you the space to do so. And that was the crap, you know, that you had to deal with on your own. I had my girls and I said, no, you gonna talk to me about everything you do. And to this day, I got a 24-year-old that be like, mommy, and I'm like, yeah, what's up, babe? What's wrong? Talk to me. And we are so able to talk to each other and so open. And my family looks at that like something ain't right. You're not supposed to be your kid's best friend. First off, I'm not gonna let these kids that's their age be their best friend and tell them everything wrong to do. You know, and then when something go down, they can't look to an actual adult to help them through a situation. No, that's not going to work for me. Especially when I had to go through it by myself. So, yeah. And then they wonder why I'm crazy. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, y'all. But it is what it is. I think the things that Wize was saying, I mean, nail right on the head. When you older, that was just the way it was. Oh my gosh, where did that go? It just was the way that it was, you know, when we were coming up. I think we're kind of on that level. I think more Northerners go through more stuff than anything, right?
I don't know. I'm not gonna say because I'm a Northerner just like you.
I'm gonna say.
But it's everybody else has that struggle, man. My struggle is more than anyone else's because it's not true. My struggle is special to me. It's unique to me, and not everyone deals with it the same. Not everyone who's been out with it the same. Some of them never made it out of it. So it's.
If we were able to talk, right? Wouldn't we be able to kind of like not think so much about like suicide?
mean, we haven't been like, just like Dominic, he said he's lost two friends to suicide. I've lose their children to suicide in the past year or so, and it's deep. It's you tell a parent, like, what am I supposed to tell my friend? Like, how am I supposed to, like, no, I don't know what to tell them. It's like, yeah, I know what it is to have lost. I hadn't lost my son. I hadn't lost my daughter, so I can't relate to them. But all I can do is be supportive and be there for them, and when they're ready to themselves, and I'm there for them.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I'm glad that you're there, you know, because, you know, if we can have a lot more men to be there for the younger generation, I think we would be better off, you know, just to have, you know, that mentor or just the person to look up to. And I think it would be awesome. Okay, so you guys, we're in the last 5 minutes. Okay, it's been an hour already.
Already?
So I know, right? It went so fast. Go ahead and tell everyone how they can actually reach you. Go ahead, Wize.
You can find my podcast, Stuck in My Mind podcast, on all major platforms. You can catch my TV show on tvpbn.com. Definitely tune in to the radio www.willwiseradio.com. And I'm on Instagram and Twitter, _B_blunt, and that's about it. Those are all my links right at the moment.
Like, that's it. Okay, Dominic.
Awesome. Yeah. So you could definitely reach me. I'm there on Facebook as well, on IG, more so on Facebook. So you definitely do better trying to reach me there. But I am available on IG, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of those social media. The handle is always going to be the same. It's always
Dominique Edmond.
And so you'll be able to find me. You could also connect with the publishing company. So if you're interested in publishing a book, if you do see where that could be therapeutic for you, or you see where it could be something that can help others, like we talked about earlier, where by you sharing your story, you're able to help other people, then definitely connect with me, reach out. I would love to talk with you about that. I would love to talk with you about your ideas, what it is that you have in mind, what you would like to do. You can find me, you can connect with me online. It's empoweredbooks.com. That's spelled EMPOWORD books.com. So empoweredbooks.com, or you can shoot me an email, empoweredbooks@gmail.com. empoweredbooks@gmail.com is my email. And if you just wanted to call, if that felt better for you to give me a call, then you can reach me. My number is 225-412-3130. 225-412-3130 is the number if you wanted to call, and we can talk about your book or whatever it is that might be on your mind or your heart on that day. So thank you, Myya.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys, you know how to reach me. I'm on LadyMyya, pretty much every platform. I mean, I've stopped counting. So, like, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, yes, and then to LinkedIn, Alignable, some other stuff I can't really remember. So you guys, you can always reach me. Go to LadyMyya.com. That's MYYA, you guys, always. And so if you want to be on any of my shows, you can always do that as well. And you can just reach me at admin@LadyMyya.com. And that is admin@LadyMyya.com. So I love you guys to pieces. I appreciate you guys just hanging with me today. This has been awesome. And I will look to you guys for you guys to come back. So hopefully this will be one of those deals. Thank you guys for having me, and talk to you later.
Peace out.
This was previously recorded.